Welcome, I'm Void Dude, and I recently got called out on my 7 types of Star Citizen players who go to Jumptown video by a salt miner. They ultimately don't care about in-game money and just want to watch the world burn.
It's not necessarily true. Air superiority in Jumptown is like super important if you're going to hold it down.
The hard sodium-induced fact is that I always thought these sweaty flyboys were there to pad their kill-death ratios for a scoreboard that doesn't exist and not the maze. But the pro dogfighter who goes to Jumptown deserves more respect, because while the entire server believes they're thinning the population of Stanton with their incomprehensible dogfighting skills just for a laugh, I discovered the truth, which will undoubtedly shock you to your very core. Let's begin. I have been lying balls deep in the snows of Calliope for a while now, and I'm pretty sure there's no difference between this and an actual vasectomy. It's worth it though, because kids are hard work and we're trying to fill the role of an epic Jumptown Solo Infiltrator. If you need more clarity on what a Jumptown Solo Infiltrator is and the various other types of Jumptowners that you could run into there in our ludicrous space game that Christ Roberts all tricked us into pledging for 10 years ago, but you carry on playing because of some sunken cost fallacy, you should check out my previous video about the 7 different types of Star Citizens who go to Jumptown. It's both educational and entertaining and was given the seal of approval by the UEE Navy. Over the weekend that Jumptown ran, that feels so long ago, I feel like I was given the opportunity to grow as a Star Citizen and realized that when you approach Jumptown and some elite sweaty pro dogfighter boys swiftly delete you from the atmosphere, they are not necessarily there for a one-sided fight that resembles a roided up MMA championship fighter having a deathmatch against a malnourished little Voidy Jr. You may already know this, but I'm a bit of a slow learner, and by chance during my previous attempts at getting close to Jumptown, I realized that there were tractor beam tool sounds coming from within the production facility, and these clever pro dogfighters were simply keeping the skies clear for their sketchy gang of box boys inside who were undoubtedly moving product. So I dedicated my life, and by life I mean a few hours, to becoming a silent space ninja who spent his time getting to Jumptown and remaining totally undetected. Sitting here idling in a game like this in the hopes it will pay off by making sick amounts of fake space money really gives you time to think and come up with creative ways to ask viewers to like and subscribe. An eternity later, and the Maze Mule Cutlass had arrived, and as you know, all good ships have a name, so I decided to call this one f***ing Finally. These guys definitely have their shit together, and their pilot made the elite and professional decision to not leave his seat, ready to depart at the first sign of an A2 bomber. Now a eunuch, I decided it was f***ing finally time to move towards f***ing finally. This pilot could take off at any moment, so I figure now is as good a time as any to try to get on board. To my surprise, the invisible hand of Christ Roberts himself yanks my corporeal form straight out the back of the ship in some insane fit of desync, and yet again, Jumptown traumatizes my fragile psyche. I eat a lead sandwich, and if I was an actual smart person, I would have gotten into f***ing Finaly's cockpit and put down the pilot. Instead, I kind of just stand around, caught like a deer in space headlights. And without cover, begin getting brutalized on my way through the door that takes way too long to open. Life continues to be short and cheap in the grim dark future of the verse. When I'm in the mood, my wife says I can be quite persistent, and Jumptown is no different. We're in a Mercury Star Runner now, and as you know, all good ships have a name, so I decided to call this one Remember Me after a successful JT Heist. We do a little fly over Jumptown to confirm that it is indeed not safe, but I know this gang of sneaky cutthroat maze runners have been at this the whole day, so I'm for once glad to see the place locked down by what other citizens might call a bunch of hostile griefing f***wits. But we now know that they are not in fact hostile griefing f***wits, because they are playing 4D chess while you think the game at hand is Hungry Hungry Hippo, only instead of Hungry Hungry Hippos it involves hungry Jumptown tourists in a conga line formation, and instead of little plastic marbles it's highly valuable space maze. And this Hungry Hungry Hippo is hungry for fake space money. You can probably tell that this is the first draft of my script and I have no idea what I'm writing. Voidyvids severely lacks professionalism. Consider checking out the Patreon page so that I can afford to take proper creative writing lessons. Link in the description. We leave Remember Me after successful JT Heist and depart in style on a Drake Dragonfly. All good Drake Dragonflies have a name, even though they're not ships, so I decided to call this one Oh My God, Please Don't Explode. This name works because I have experience in skimming the surfaces of various moons of Stanton, and sometimes it looks like you don't hit a rock, but you actually do hit a rock, and so you just explode, and everyone has a good laugh, but deep down inside, you are silently shitting yourself because it can literally happen at any moment, and also it's nighttime on Calliope, and my sphincter is getting quite the workout. Christ Roberts is surely watching over us, and so we are finally in range to make it the rest of the way on foot, so I make the perfectly logical decision to disembark from the Dragonfly while a few hundred meters in the air. If this moon had higher gravity, we probably would have blown both our kneecaps off, and our fibulas and tibias would find a new place to live inside our rib cages, giving the doctors at the Kelto RX at Everest Harbour a good laugh as they hit the print body button on the Ibrahim Sphere regeneration pod and pat themselves on the back after such an arduous day at work, regenerating people like me who perplexingly to them lack any form of grey matter. Man, I bet those doctors are so overpaid. Anyway, our solo infiltration of Jumptown is complete, and it's time for some riveting, highly tactical space stealth espionage gameplay that would make Tom Clancy roll over in his grave. By riveting stealth espionage, highly tactical gameplay, I mean lie on our backs in the snow and try not to shit actual bricks while this warden gets a bit up close and personal, reminding me of that scene from the underrated movie Pitch Black where one of those freaky alien monsters sees right through Vin Diesel's ability to actually act. We can finally move closer to the facility to confirm that there are indeed tractor beams resonating inside, and all the maze is making weird physics collision noises, so it's time to begin Operation Please Don't F This Up Void Dude, You've Come Too Far. Your YouTube channel thrives on content like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. I try out various non-compromising positions while I wait for whatever drug mule ship these sneaky are using to arrive. Sometime later, and a constellation lands, which in a terrible attempt to create some foreshadowing, I've nicknamed the Titanic, and the game of 4D hungry hippo chess is afoot. But what these dangerous sneaky orc gang members don't know is that I'm playing 5D poker with a blackjack full of Yahtzee, and I'm about to throw down an Uno reverse card. These lines are all terrible, I don't know any board or card games, let's just steal some goddamn maze. I feel confident there's no need to rush because these sleek gangsters are sitting on a gigantic load of product that will take a good while to load thanks to the developers' desire to physicalize the shit out of this game, so I can take my time and observe and slowly get into the best position I can think of to come up with a plan. There are a few things to consider. There are at least 2 dedicated fighter boys in the sky who might open fire as soon as anything happens. There are 2 one armed and one unarmed maze loader boys on the ground. There is a dedicated pilot in the Titanic ready to take off at the first sign of trouble, as well as the Cutlass and Defender, which I have no idea what they're up to if anything at all. You're thinking, damn Void Dude, those are some pretty stacked odds, just give up and go back to playing Candy Crush or something, you filthy casual. To which I say, piss off random viewer, I don't understand Candy Crush and I'm too stupid to fail. I figure the only option to make any space profit from this situation is to become a stowaway on the Titanic and hopefully not be seen. They load so much product into the constellation that if it made it onto the streets of Stanton, the entire solar system's population would be high for weeks. Seriously, I don't think I've ever seen this much maze get loaded into one single ship before. Based on absolutely nothing but my finely honed epic gamer instincts, I make a move. Christ Roberts, please watch over me. I'm not one to boast, and I love self-deprecating humor, but oh my fuck, the jump into the Titanic's side airlock was cleaner than little Voidy Jr.'s bum cheeks after he took a shit, and we cleaned it up with Pampers wet wipes. That reminds me, the sponsor of today's video is... I'm just kidding, if you don't use adblock, here's an advert. If you do use adblock, fuck you. I thought that the time I loaded Elvis Presley V with drugs after wiping out a bunch of Jumptown tourists and opportunists was pretty tense. But during this situation, I actually thought my heart was going to explode out of my chest. You don't know how long I had been waiting in the snow for. It just goes to show that if you are truly dedicated to something, sometimes sacrificing a testicle or two can be worth it. Enough time had passed that I was confident this vicious gang of maze runners had not picked up on me stowing away on board the Titanic. All that was left to do was to wait, but that's okay. I've proven in this video that that's something I can do. It will be the easiest thing in the world to take out the pilot once he engages Quantum, and there would be no hostiles nearby. I could return the ship to Remember Me after successful JT Heist and transfer all the product in secret and then make the maze sale of the decade. Sadly, however, I recorded practically non-stop over the 2 weekends that Jumptown ran, and right about at this moment, my hard drive actually became full and my recording software gave up on me without any notification. That's right, your favorite Star Citizen YouTuber, your friend, the disembodied sarcastic internet personality you've come to love and enjoy over the last few months, did not capture the rest of this epic Jumptown heist. So I've taken the liberty of creating a dramatic reenactment of these true events. So basically, after the captain of the Titanic engaged Quantum, I began to make my way to the bridge, and as I did so, there was a big explosion. The Titanic was sunk by its own ludicrously huge iceberg of maze, which I assume glitched out because the physics of so many boxes of maze went insane due to the force reaction of the quantum jump. Whichever developer at CIG is responsible for this type of behavior, please know that I hate you. Thank you to all my Patreons for your support. Your generosity continues to blow me away. If for some reason you're not a Star Citizen yet and you watch my silly YouTube channel and you're thinking about pledging to this ludicrous space game, please use one of the referral codes on screen now, and if you're interested in supporting the channel beyond a like and a subscribe, check out the links in the description. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you around the verse. Cheers.